Thank you. How are you this morning?
How bad is this problem?
Well, the fact is we're falling way behind. We actually navigate or provide guidance for airplanes that cross the sky. We have tens of thousands of them every day, and there are no highways in the sky, of course. So air traffic controllers route these planes across the sky, and we're still using World War II era radar technology to do it. Other countries are moving very rapidly towards what's called next generation, using satellite GPS technology, which is much more precise, much better in all kinds of ways. And, we just haven't been moving to get there. 25 years ago, the Clinton administration, Clinton and Gore actually proposed moving towards a separate organization for air traffic control, moving towards new guidance technology using GPS. But a quarter century later, we're not there.
How come the FAA can't do this themselves?
Well, part of it is the thick glue of bureaucracy. It's very hard for them to move and to make decisions. But second, theirs is a circumstance where the amount of money each year that they get comes from the Congress, and there are threats of sequestration. There's been sequestration of funds and layoffs of air traffic controllers, and facilities and equipment budgets have been frozen for about 15 years at the FAA. So what other countries have done is they've created a separate, in this case we propose a government-chartered nonprofit organization in which the government would be one of the stakeholders in the board, but they'd be able to bond and to buy the equipment and to run the organization and move towards next generation traffic guidance in the air.
If there's not enough money for the federal government to do it, how are you going to do it with a nonprofit independent agency?
Well, the reason that the government can't do it is they have uncertain funding year to year, and at least that's why it's not getting done through the FAA. And a nonprofit, a government-chartered nonprofit, would be able to issue bonds to buy equipment to do those kinds of things, number one. And number two, assess those who use the airspace, those who fly the airplanes, the cost of running the organization.
Oh, I see. So they would then charge the airlines the money to sort of run their own.
That's correct.
Air traffic controllers.
Now much of the funding comes from fuel taxes, but nearly 60 countries have already done this. Our country has not. We're falling behind in technology and capability. And can I just tell you, if you're flying from Canada to the U.S., when you reach the U.S. border, it's like going in time warp, because the air traffic controllers, who, by the way, support this change, the air traffic controllers are actually passing slips of paper to keep track of those airplanes. And they'll be doing that until 2028. Canada stopped doing that 10 years ago.
What has to happen for this to happen?
Congress has to enact legislation. Legislation has been introduced in the U.S. House. It's passed the committee. It was introduced with bipartisan support, but it's passed the committee. It's going to go to the full House maybe this month, and then it would go to the Senate. And, it's somewhat controversial because it's a heavy lift, and there are lots of special interests that don't want to see change. But I really want our country to have the best air traffic control system in the world, and we cannot get there using technology that comes from World War II.
As somebody who does not watch how the sausage is made, and the people listening to this, if we're using World War II technology for the plane I'm getting in tomorrow, the system we have in this country is broken overall, that we can't adapt to the rest of the world. There's something wrong with Washington when something like this can't get done.
Yeah, well, people know there's something wrong. But, when your smartphone is able to track where you are with much greater precision than it's able to track than we're able with radar to track where that airplane is with carrying 200 people. There's something wrong as well, and we need to use modern technology guidance. Other countries, most of them have moved very quickly, and we're not moving with the kind of dispatch we need.
Is there a website to find out more, Senator?
No, I don't have that at my fingertips, but they can send me a note at byrondorgan.com, and I'd be happy to respond as well. But this will be going on for some while, and it in my judgment, will create margins of safety that are better. You're able to fly more direct routes. Passengers will not be sitting on the plane on the tarmac waiting for air traffic control for takeoff. The pilots' unions support this. The air traffic controllers who do the work every day to guide these airplanes support it as well. It's a common sense thing to do.
Here in St. Louis, they're talking about just tapping their toe in the water about privatizing the airport. Does that have anything to do with this?
No.
No. All right. Will this make it easier for me to go through security and not take my shoes off?
I don't know what they're proposing in St. Louis, but I mean, there are ways to not have you take your shoes off, and that's go to pre-check and so on.
All right.
Everybody can sign up for pre-check, get you through quicker.
Former North Dakota Democratic Senator Byron Dorgan. Sir, thank you for your time.
Yeah, it's good to talk to you today.
7:50.